Alrighty then, how we doing today? Looks like we got the intro done. I don't know what I'm so happy about. Except I enjoy taking a little break out of my day, pretty much every day for about 2 hours, to provide this randomly, rarely viewed live performance right here from Kench Niner Studios. The studios consists of some very fancy lighting equipment, including this Himalayan salt lamp, the Twitch glitch sign, and this doesn't light up, but it's still pretty fancy. The Love Lego. This stuff works, but anyway. I've got a VR glasses randomly placed there, and a very, very nice guitar. This is a Schecter C1 Hellraiser FR, Hellraiser C1, whatever, C1 Hellraiser FR, Floyd Rose. It's a really, really good one too. But I'm going to play guitar later, and it's going to have a Floyd, sort of a Floyd Rose, we'll call it that. But it's this one. It's Guitar Day. I could have, my two that I'm going to be playing a lot in the future are the Revstar, which my two newest ones, the Revstar, and this fancy cheap guitar from Amazon. You get from Amazon for $250, right from the Chinese warehouse to the Amazon to the U. No guitar store needed. And so I'm going to play this way. It's pretty damn nice. I'm pretty happy with this purchase. Especially they're $250. It's very inexpensive. I mean, the Revstar is great, but there's $830. I get like 3 of those easily. But so there'll be me flying around a Microsoft Flight Simulator. Where are we gonna go? Oh, iShowSpeed. On my monitor there, iShowSpeed is back doing his thing, creating IRL. He's in not Freetown. Where is it? He's in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's like Charlottesville or something. What is it? Charlotte? No, what's it called? Charlotte Amalie. I think that's the main town. I've flown around this place a million times, so we're gonna do a million and one. So basically, what happens is I don't know if you know who iShowSpeed is. Okay, it's a really famous streamer. Most people under 30 are gonna know who he is. He's really famous. He's mobbed. He's an American young man who has a lot of charisma and is just super famous. I mean, he's one of the top 10 streamers worldwide, and that's saying something. Like Kai Cenat and some of those others, and he likes to do these RL streams where he goes to kind of off the beaten track, and so he did a trip around Africa, and I kind of followed him around there. I'm just saying, in Flight Simulator, I fly where he is. He's in the U.S. Virgin Islands today. He's streaming there right now. He's been streaming there for about 2 hours. I don't know where he's going to go, but basically he's an ambassador for us, and it's the second stream ever of Simulate SU5, the SU5 update, because it just came out on Thursday and I didn't stream Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, that's 2 streams. The SU5 update, is it solid? Is it going to crash? Is it crazy? We know there's a lot of random changes. The UI's changed, and there's a bunch of stuff that I haven't really dealt with. But so far, so far so good. Yesterday, there was no technical issues. I didn't stress it out. I was just flying around, kind of some easy places to fly around. And today, I think U.S. Virgin Islands should be pretty easy. Right, then there'll be by the way, I forgot to introduce the drink of the show. That's Diet Coke on a glass over ice. I better check it out, make sure this batch is good. I always get that burp, I like that. Get that little It'll do. All right, see from the can, poured into the glass. All right, blah, blah. Oh, what else? How are we going to control our plane today to keep it from falling out of the sky? The big blue Bluetooth controller. The beautiful blue Bluetooth controller, man. After saying that 800 million times, you'd think I'd get it down. Hey. Right, then there's going to be the big brain games and a short break, and then it's going to be a guitar day. That's going to be me picking up that guitar, talking about guitars, playing that guitar for a while, playing along with some karaoke songs on the YouTube where I sing and play the guitar. It's pretty much just for my own edification. And that'll be a stream for the day. And then the next stream will be probably tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's all basically the same every time. All right, here we go. Cam, you can see my opening screen. We have successfully booted into Microsoft Flight Simulator. All right, so first thing we're going to do, because I know where we're going, but I don't know what we're going to fly in. I kind of want to fly the good old. We do want to try helicopters, but I want to do that offline because they've changed the ground model. I hope it would not affect the Magni, but we'll find out. And in general, do all these planes work? Okay, hopefully I'm loading. There we go. Liveries. There it goes. Well, that seems to take a little longer, but I don't know. It's here it is. It's working. Metallic red, always good. So is pearl beige, but let's do metallic red. Looks a little different. I mean, they made a lot. They only do one of these SU sim updates every 3 months at most. All right, so we're gonna be that one, and here we're gonna go. We're gonna find the U.S. Virgin Islands. Of course, they're right next to the non-U.S. Virgin Islands. There we go. So you can see there's Charlotte. I mean, there's St. John, St. Croix, right? And then this side here, what happened? What just happened there? What just happened there? Something weird just happened. I didn't push any buttons. And I think there's some bugs. I'm just saying. Okay, where is it? Here. All right. Here it is. I was just saying, just moving things around. Maybe, I don't know what I did. All right. He is going to be here currently streaming live from Charlotte Amalie. And there's a nice airport there. We're gonna take off from the airport, I guess, even though we really don't need an airport. Barely. It's a big international airport. I mean, yeah, we'll just take off from there. And we're gonna cold start the old. We'll start at a ramp. I may not use a runway. We really don't need it. There's one of my favorite planes in the game. It's an auto gyro, which is a very unusual, real thing. Hey, thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoy the shows. Appreciate it. I can't really see the name too well, but welcome in. It's pretty much, been doing this for a couple years, so it's pretty much standardized. This is the beautiful paint job. You can see this is a real thing, the Magni Orion. And it comes in a bunch of different configurations, including a tandem, which is a front seat and a rear seat, and a side-by-side. This is the side-by-side configuration. All right, let's get in and start up. It's not very hard. And this is kind of, the actual version you buy is a lot less primitive on the inside. Seems like almost a prototype. Battery on, start power on, open the valves. It's got a Rotax engine in the back, which has 2 fuel systems and 2 ignition systems, like any good aviation engine should. Well, it's for aviation. You click that button and it starts up. That's the engine. So you got the rotor at the top. It looks like a helicopter. It's not a helicopter. It's not powered. At least it's not powered most of the time. There's a caveat there. But most of the time, you're pushing the thing, but it's holding you up via aerodynamic forces on the inside. All right, let's fly around this island. We're checking out. We're shadowing ISHO speed. This is St. Thomas. Okay, today the comms are working. We're just gonna fly around St. Thomas. There's a lot to see at low level. There's like castles, there's forts, a lot of hotels, and how do I know? Because we've flown around before. But as I say, I'm watching him fly around, drive around on the bay, which is really close. I can see like that hill there. I can see that on his live stream right now. It's really cool. Okay, let's get going. What happened? Oh yeah, it's still working, right? Acknowledge taxi clearance. Okay, parking brake off. We're moving. We really don't. Okay, good. We got the blue things. This is what it looks like from in here. There's our training pilot there. Hello, ma'am. How are you doing today? Okay, a little more power. All right. Well, we're talking. It's very easy to take off. Very easy to fly. Super maneuverable because it's not like a fixed wing plane that holds a lot of rotational momentum in the wings, effectively, because it's just got a rotor. In other words, you can rotate underneath the rotors, 180 degrees, and they're still holding you up. All right, a little more power here. Push from the back. I don't know where it wants us to go at this point. I don't want to maneuver for like 10 minutes on the ground, although sometimes we do. The other thing they tell you can go to YouTube. There's a bunch of videos of people flying around these gyros. There's definitely a hobbyist, group that fly them for recreational purposes, and they're like any other kind of ultralight plane. You don't need a full pilot's license, but you're not allowed to fly people commercially. If it's just you can do it. say, don't go too fast and turn. You can fall. It's kind of top heavy on the sides. I watched a bunch of these YouTube videos. Hold on, this power. All right, it's going to go out to the runway down here. You can see this is a big modern runway. So he's going up the hill to kind of behind Charlotte. Well, there's a bunch of places. I'm not going to be able to know exactly where he is, but we were in the exact same area, and it looks like a beautiful, relatively clear day. There's a few more clouds but not that much more, I would say, and that's not a lot, because usually these areas are very humid, and especially in the summer, they're always quite cloudy. It's a beautiful day to be checking out the lovely island of where the heck we are, Charlotte on the lead, St. Thomas. Right, so St. Thomas and St. Croix, there's a bunch of minor islands that are part of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and then Virgin Gorda and the other islands that are the British Virgin Islands. I've been to the U.S. Virgin Islands, it was a long time ago. And obviously not by planes, just car, driving around, staying at my friend's house. Sometimes here, H. Weston, sometimes he's here. In the chat, stayed at his house in Virgin Islands one time. There's a lot of bugs. It's not necessarily paradise unless you can make sure that your living environment is completely is not open to the environment, not open to the outside, screened off. There's no way the fuckers can get in. All right, let's see. And that's actually surprisingly hard to do, although some people take the time to do it. But then you have an issue of, your screen has a tiny hole in it. You got to keep those screens really well maintained. All right, turn the tower. We're pretty much ready to go. Request the clearance.
St. Thomas Tower, key into Station 9 are ready at runway 10.
There's a hill here. All right, we don't need the whole runway, so I'm going to turn to the left when I go.
QNH 101, 5 straight out departure approved. Clear for takeoff, runway 10.
10, so that's this way. Acknowledge the takeoff clearance. Good thing nobody else is on the runway. That's pretty clear. We're approaching our takeoff. All right, so to take off, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and line ourselves up real easy, but it's a little different than other planes. Shut our engine down here. We're not going to need very much of this runway, but dead ahead is the way we want to go. Okay, so now I've set the parking brake, so that's the parking brake that's there. Now what I'm going to do is release the rotor brake. It's a different braking system. We give us a little more power here, not enough to override the parking brake, and then we're going to use there's a little system that diverts power from the engine by a gear and cable system to the rotors. That's called pre-rotation. So now I'm watching that number there. That's that little LCD display. That's the RPM. Okay, when that gets to be about there, I release the rotor brake, give us full power, and stop squeezing that whole thing. So now we're just getting full power. Now we just pull back and we're flying. It's that easy, and it takes 2 seconds. And even in the real world, it's going to be the fastest taken off from the ground you've ever seen. Anyway, so the key is to recognize that that rotor is not powered. So we're watching that number 316. You want that to stay between about 250 and 500. 500 is over rotating, and 200 below 200, and the rotors don't have enough speed to keep you in the air. This is the airport, so it's kind of on this little spit there. They kind of added that on to the airport. It's pretty modern, but okay. So right up here, okay. So anyway, we want just a trim, but you don't directly control the rotor. It's telling you what it is. It's basically the amount of air that's flowing under those rotors there that's keeping them going, because they're slightly back. You can't really tell. They're slightly aimed back, and that means there's always air flowing under them. All right, we're gonna stay nice and low. There's like a castle. And there's a bunch of, but right here, I guess it's pretty boring. But yeah, so I'm watching iShow Speed. He's on top of a white building. Oh, I think he's on Blackbeard's castle right now. So I think he is right up here where it says where that castle might be, because they just put a pirate hat on him, and it's a big white building. And I think that is with a kind of a decent view. Yeah, he's right here. Yeah, I can kind of see from the bay. It's really interesting to compare somebody who's live streaming. By the way, I'm on the island. I'm on the island of St. Thomas. Thank God I And it's because I'm watching this is a stream. I talked about it before. It's got named I Show Speed, really famous, and he's been doing this Caribbean tour. And I'm always like, well, that's an excuse to fly over him, and I can actually see where he is. I mean, he has a drone, and he's on the castle. He's on the castle, which is, I think, well, he's on the castle. It's up there. It's that one, right? Or is it? Because I can see his whole bay view, and it is so realistic. You know, I'm watching a generated view in Flight Simulator, and on my monitor here, I'm watching I Show Speed. I wish I could show him on my thing, but I think that would be a Twitch copyright violation on YouTube. I get into trouble. But I Show Speed, very famous streamer. I mean, he's IRL streaming. He has a really fancy setup, including a drone drone operator. And a bunch of that follows him wherever he goes. But I believe this would appear. What does that say there? Is this Blackbeard's Castle, or is this just a Charlotte Amelie? I'm trying to find the names here. It's a big white building, but I don't know how well represented it is in the game. Yeah, you see how he has that fort-like look here. I believe he is right here. It's just been painted white. I mean, and I'm just comparing the view. Yeah, it looks kind of like that, kind of not like that. But I'm comparing his view, and this is the view. I can see him. He's got his drone operator and a bunch of other cameramen. And when they show the bay, that's exactly what it looks like. I mean, there's no ship there, but that is very realistic. This building has not been updated. It doesn't look exactly like it should. Let me just put it that way. Or I'm over the wrong one, but it's in the right place. I don't see any like White Castle building. Yeah, and I can see this area. Oh, maybe it's this area. I just saw them flying over and showing this hill. I'm basically where his drone is right now. But the drone can be quite a distance from where he is. But yeah, this is where he's been hanging out. He's doing a whole this massive tour. Like, so Wednesday, I guess we shadowed him Wednesday, and he did 4 major Caribbean islands in one day on his private jet. Look at that these poor. This is not good, because these could look like regular cruise ships and not, satellite images, because the game has cruise ships, and I don't know why they're not showing correctly. I believe they used to show correctly as 3-dimensional cruise ships. So I'm wondering if maybe I have things turned down. I don't know. Yeah, St. Thomas is a really pretty island. There's lots to see. So I just figured it's a nice excuse to check it out. I can see the weather is fantastic. And of course, in the gyro, the auto gyro, we can cover a lot of ground. So I think that's the primary bay. Of course, you see there's 3 cruise ships there. I don't know why they're not 3-dimensional. As I mentioned, we've seen plenty of cruise ships in the game, and they look, they're beautifully modeled. I want to check my settings. This is SU Sim Update 5, the newest Sim update. And it is running quite smooth. I'm checking my frames here. Yeah, we're still at 120, 132, which is basically limited. But when I'm not near a major city, which would really cause a problem. By the way, here's what it looks like from the inside.
Frequency change.
Okay, what are we at? 410. What was gas here? I want to see what's up here. So those other islands there are that island. There's there, but you can see the British Virgin Islands. There's only one island. The closest island is St. Croix, and that's the U.S. Virgin Islands. But then you get those islands, and further back is the British. They're pretty close to each other. But this island, yeah, I mean, it's full of these curvy roads and lots of houses, and it's a beautiful place. It's got some nice beaches, but I don't know if beaches are really the draw. But it is a U.S. territory, so everybody speaks English and they take dollars. And I think that, that's one draw. I don't really think that's a big deal, but, you know, at least it used to be, I think. So there's this side of the island here. I think my friend used to live around here somewhere. There's just a lot of places up there. There's an issue with water. Water, you know, it doesn't have, you can't drill wells and get groundwater. And it doesn't have a lot of natural reservoirs on it. So, fresh water is kind of an issue. Non-islands have that issue, but this one does. I mean, if you're staying in a resort, you have as much water as you want, but there's a big sign on it saying, please conserve water. There's not a lot of fresh water around. It's very expensive. But yeah, there's a lot of places like this. A lot of them are owned, you know, by effectively an occasional owner. Whee! I like flying this. It's really seat of the pants flying. There's no autopilot. There's no, you know, it's all manually controlled. And you kind of get the feel by listening how fast things are going by listening to the rotor, you know, the speed of the rotor. You know, sometimes I'm watching it and make sure it doesn't fall over or go over too high. But it will naturally speed up as you lose altitude and slow down as you gain altitude. Kind of high up. Oh, we didn't have a cruise ship, but at least we had like those pirate ships are still three-dimensional. You know, like this sailing ship. The sailing ship they have here. But that's weird about the cruise ship. I don't have to go to some other islands. I know there's like all these islands have cruise terminals. And they always used to have three-dimensional cruise ships. So I got to do a little investigation there. And I do want to go back to, now that for Sim Update 5, I want to go back to Los Angeles and see if maybe they fixed Griffith Park Observatory. You never know. I don't think so. Also, they're supposed to come out with a world update or city update for Australia. And I'm looking forward to that because Australia is always a vibe. And I've been avoiding it because as soon as I heard they were going to have a world update for it, I'm like, well, we'll wait for the world update. You can see they have cargo ships that are three-dimensional, but the cruise ships were just imagery in the water. Yeah, the other thing about this island is very complicated outline. It's not like a round island with a belt road that goes around it. It's very, very complicated. So, you know, you'd have to have a map system. I mean, it's just all the places where it jets out and has a long connection somewhere. You get lost and you go to the wrong place, you could be real lost for a really long time. One thing that we can see they have not fixed is the placement of these giant cargo vessels in inappropriate places. That's been here since the simulation launched, I'm pretty sure. And I guess they just haven't figured out how to position the cargo vessels in a way that they would normally be. I don't know. I think there's got to be a way. I think they just haven't put a lot of thought into it. All right, should we go over to, I think, St. Croix over there? Well, we'll just do a little over water flight. See what that is over there. It's a beautiful day. That's the island kind of receive. It's not very tall, you know, it doesn't have a lot of tall volcanic actions or like more eroded down islands. And that's one of the reasons, as I mentioned, it doesn't have a great water supply. If you have tall mountains, they'll tend to kind of stop the humidity and get water out of the clouds at that altitude. There's some stuff going on here. I want to check out. We should get rid of this. The simulation, though, it is running really well. But again, until we do like a Las Vegas flight or a LA flight, which has got, you know, then we can tell whether it's whether my system is handling it better than Sim Update 4, which is having a lot of problems. Cool, look at these. Yeah. Detailing is so-so, but I think that's the way it's always been. Yeah, so we're going to go to Grand, wherever that is. Grand Bay. Oh, what is it? What is it? Cruise Bay. C-R-U-Z. Cruise Bay. Cruise. I have it up here. Let's see. I mean, I have the... yeah, Cruise Bay. Seaplane base. Okay. There's a seaplane base there. We're not a seaplane. But yeah, this is the other major U.S. Virgin Island, including Virgin Island National Park. Uh-oh, this is a separate wild animal attack. And it was kind of an ambush, too. Like, he didn't even announce himself. Hello, Mr. Mo. Are you going to help us fly the plane? Hello, Mr. Mo. He's a baby Steve-O. He just wants to hang out while I fly. I'm surprised I haven't crashed yet. We're in a very stable. Normally, because normally you need to kind of keep your hand on the thing there. And I'm just like, there's no autopilot, but it's very well trimmed. Let me put it that way. In other words, that it naturally wants to stay at basically the same altitude. I guess I could do that. Bring the nose up a little bit here. But I like that it can be very nice and stable. I don't see where, besides the seaplane base, where there would be an airport on this island. There's got to be one. I mean, it's a big island. But you know, it's not showing one here. Okay. Maybe people come from a ferry from St. Thomas. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I gotta check my settings. I don't know, maybe I need to turn up the settings. I turned them way down because I was having a lot of problems streaming with some update 4. And so far so good, no weird crashes. The other thing would be to try planes like the Concorde I tried on SU4 and it failed entirely. It basically crashed my system. More power to the Warp Nacelle, Scotty. Or even the V-22 Osprey, which is always a vibe. So there'll be plenty of opportunity to try these fancy planes over more populated areas, especially when we get the Australia, because there's lots of cool cities to fly over in Australia. What's over here? Only one way to find out. Hello, Mr. Mo. He's just in my lap right now, giving us give me the warm fuzzies. He likes to do that. Got something to say, Mo? Got something to say? He doesn't have anything to say. Uh-oh. That time it wasn't stable. Whee! I'm having fun. That's the cat's fault. No problems. Full power. It's, you don't want to hear the captain say that. But a little more power to get out of this little area here. Also, you get a lot of downdrafts, and they can come out of nowhere. Very easy to fly, really. I'm just flying at low level and dangerously low level because I'm enjoying it. And that's the way to go. It's all these are the both. I've never been on. I don't think I've been on this island. I mean, I've flown around it, but I haven't actually been there. But there's a lot of detailing. At least, a lot of these, these houses probably don't look just like rectangular boxes. Mo, what do you need? It would be so happy. He just gave me the quiet roar. Whatever that means. But anyway, I can land on any nice flat area. It doesn't have to be an airport. And a nice flat area could be a beach, because those are always nice and flat, usually. We should see if there's a beach. I've landed on the beach before. Boy, this is really tricky. I mean, all these hills. Oh, right, St. John. Right, they drive on the left side of the road. Yeah, that would scare. I think we talked about it. That's scary. That would scare the shit out of me. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to. Drive in traffic. It's just like a little area where these are all like rental houses or something. Rental cabins that have nice views. I don't know if there's a lot of. Oh, this is gonna be cool. We're gonna head down this area here. Right. So wait a minute. So right, St. John is British Virgin Islands. St. Thomas and St. Croix, which is where we are now, is U.S. Virgin Islands. So I think they drive on the right. That's the other reason why people might prefer to come to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Besides that, they speak English, they dollars. And the British Virgin Islands, they do drive on the other side. And St. John is the major. Isn't that correct? Yes. Isn't that right? Virgin Gorda and St. John. No. This is St. John. Why did I think it was St. Croix? All right, this is St. John. So I was wrong. U.S. Virgin Islands, but for historical reasons, they still drive on the other side. because they were previously whatever. They were previously all. Yes, I got it. I just looked it up because I'm looking at my thing. Yeah, those are the two major St. John and St. Thomas. I used to know all this stuff, but I don't anymore. All right, see this nice long beach here? Right, this one right here. I mean, right here. I think we can land here. I'm trying to suss out. Is it straight? Is it flat? It's not really that straight. It's not that flat, but I think it can be done. And all we need is confidence, in my opinion. Yeah, the thing is, so you're right. So the detail is, it is the U.S. Virgin Islands, but they still, I kind of remember that now, that even in St. Thomas, they drive on the left. They drive in the British system. But it's just kind of a quirk of history. All right, let's see if we can do this. I'm going to have to do this from in here. Because it's the only way to kind of judge the speed. That's something over there. The one I want to land at is up ahead, not this one here. Oh. I think so, wasn't it? Or was it here? And that was here. This one up here. I think we can do it. It's going to be a little hairy. That's what you call it. That's a landing. See? Perfect. We've survived it. Didn't even say landing, you're broken. Alright. We're slightly in the water. We might have to push ourselves out of the water. Turn that on. Parking brake on. Let the waves lap at our front while our rear blows the sand off into the woods. It's so evocative. Alright, it's a short little flight. I almost feel like I want to do a quick flight somewhere else just to test the simulation over a more city-fied area. Alright, how do we turn that off? Oh yeah, we can turn off. They shouldn't have shut off. Yeah, okay, it did shut off. Right, there you go. Eventually. Very detailed. I like it. I could drag it out of the water if I wanted to. And you could land on. I think you could land it. You wouldn't want to because it's expensive and you know. But like it's there you go. You're on your own little beach. That wasn't the best landing. It was a little scary. I gotta fly it more to get my instincts back. But as I can say, you know, yeah, we survived for sure. Right. Wait, still wanna. Right, I wanna go back to the main menu. We're just gonna do a real quick tour in a maybe a helicopter. I just want to see if the helicopters just are working better. What's a good one to test on? I mean, this is one that wasn't working very well previously. It says in the sim, by the way, in the notes, if you've looked at Sim Update 5, that they've changed the helicopter ground something or other, or something regarding the ground effects in the helicopter. But we're going to make this a challenge to the simulation by starting off in a what's nice and clear area. Starting off in a major metropolitan area where it'd be good. No, I mean, I guess we'll try Vegas and see how it looks. Again, I would do this all the time, but I want to. We're checking to see if the simulation has still, you know, has degraded or is about the same. I don't know. Let's see if this will start up. It's just going to be a 5-minute flight, I have a feeling. Okay, that was fast, which is good. Alright, so we're not going to do cold start of a helicopter. But the issue is, and the one I want to check is, when we get off the ground, can I successfully use the rotor speed control? You can see those down there. Those are those to keep me aimed forward. So what I'm going to do is slowly make the collective go up. That means more power to the verticals. We're slowly coming up there. Okay, that's that control. Very good. A little more. Collective's coming up. It's about to take us off here. As it is, I want to see how... There we go. It seems a lot better. Seems a lot easier to hover. That's almost full, though. Oh, but now it's not giving me anything. Oh, something bad happened. Because I'm not getting any... I'm getting that, but I'm not getting any, so I'm not getting any, support, any, turning. Oh, I bet it's on... It must be on... Oh, now it is. So it is working. It's just not showing it there. It's a lot easier to hover. Like, this was impossible in SU4, what I'm doing here. And I'm barely touching the controls. But it's basically almost, now the helicopters are more like a drone. But the issue is, okay, now we can get up there, and can we actually fly like a helicopter? I might have my, I want to check something here. I want to see if, there's these assistances, right? And there's specific assistances, like it's called accessibility. No, assistances. So let's see. Auto rudder is off. Good. Well, that's fixed wing. Okay, helicopter. Here's where all the assistances are. This is. I'm gonna turn them off. Yeah, I want to see what happens. I'm gonna leave this on, but. Yeah, that was making it very hard to fly. Let's see if this makes it or not realistic. Yeah, see now I'm having to. Now that's what I'm used to. Okay, where I'd have to control. I'd have to give at least. I have to give some. You have to use effectively rudder controls. These down there, but for some reason they're not showing as moving anymore. But I am getting the control. Okay, this is the north. We're heading towards downtown Vegas here. And the other thing I got to remember to do is how I do my trim, because that's like, all right, where is it? Yeah, there you go. There's my trim. Oh, sorry about that. All right, what was trim? It's like that. No. I was adjusting my trim. I gotta look at my controls because I need trim. Helicopter trim is not optional. All right, let me see if I can at least fly it a little bit. All right, so if I try and I basically go to say there's the World Market Center. Sorry for that. We'll fly over Fremont here. It's doing really well in terms of the simulation is running much smoother. But again, I think I have to turn up my. Well, actually, I was gonna say we'll go up there. But I want to go check out the sphere, and that's down this way. I got to remember, and it probably reset them. I got to remember when I set my the helicopter trim controls, which is a pretty. I forget exactly what I had it set up for. You need those. So that's. I just wanted to check this out because I was curious if the hover effect is changed, and at least from that experiment. It was, but I had all those controls. I had those auto things turned on. So the sphere's down this way. This is what it looks like from in here. You know, it's a pretty smooth ride. And again, it seems like they have fixed or certainly changed some issues, how the helicopter's handling. You can see the end of there, right down there. That's the end of the monorail. That's where it effectively starts here. This is the northern stop right there. You can see the sphere right ahead. It's doing the planets, so right now it's the moon. It'll also do the Earth and the sun. There we go. This is real pretty, this area here. Their convention center, there's the South Hall, and then the West Hall is over there. And that's Circus. These are all the nice hotels. Is the fancy golf course behind the Wynn and the Encore. But it's very smooth. I don't know if it necessarily looks better or worse, but I would say they have fixed a lot of is it like the over the memory issue and the stuttering. So it's definitely looking better, and probably even if you don't have a really high-end PC, it's going to be better. So there's let's see if the water fountain's working. It looks like I can see the water from the Bellagio, so I can see that's working. Because there was a while when it was only they only had it in the 2020 version, but they have the water working. And it looks a lot like the real Bellagio fountain, by the way. I mean the cycle there. And then this is the south part of the strip. This is the action part of the strip. You got the Venetian, the Paris, the Cosmopolitan, the Aria, the Link, Flamingo, and of course the MGM Grand. And you got the New York. You got the Luxor, and Mandalay Bay, and then they want to build some more stuff on that side. On this side is where the stadium is. Fly over the old New York, right near the Chrysler Building. And by the way, if you ever come to Las Vegas, which I do all the time, they have helicopter tours and they fly right around this route. A little bit higher than this, but they're constantly doing this. Okay, let's see if I can start coming into a situation where I could actually hover. I'm kind of like land in a parking lot or something. Like soft land in a parking lot. Wouldn't that be amazing? Watching vertical speed. Yeah, again, I would say it's definitely a little easier, at least possible, to do a soft landing. Which it would have been a lot harder to do in the old version. I'll have to practice that a little bit. And I also gotta remember what my okay, it's right button. Okay, that's my trim. So that's my trim. Very good. Okay, now I remember what my trim is for helicopters. It's different for some reason than for fixed wing planes. I don't know what it needs to be. Okay, it's running pretty well. That's interesting. Oh, we should be having a good time checking out weird, interesting places in the future for Flight Sim. But it's about time, I think. And boy, so far, technically, no problems. And yeah, I think Hobie Gal, if you like to fly helicopters, and even I think they're gonna be more fun. They're gonna be easier and more fun to fly. But these, yeah, if you look here at the release notes here, this is the SU5 Sim Update 5. This was just 2 days ago. And they do say, let's see, flight model improvements for helicopter ground effect, and it was noticeable. It's also flight model improvements for storm updrafts, which I don't know what that was, but of course there's optimization of memory, fixed erase, blah blah blah. Okay, associated with random crashes. Hopefully they've gotten a lot of stuff fixed. All right, so I'm moving to the. Just haven't sim for a while. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Well, again, there's been a big update, and it seems good, but you never know. You never know. I'm going to the just chatting category for the big brain games. Let me see if I get in there. Okay, we're gonna switch over there. Let me load up the first big brain game. Oh, should I get in here? Should I get in the marbles game there? All right, the marbles game. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to watch it. All right, big brain game. First one is the Quirtles, a warm-up game here. I made a little Diet Coke to celebrate the end of the flight simming. But if you like the flight simming, enjoyed watching that, tomorrow there'll be a whole bunch more, and every day after that, and every day after that except Tuesdays and Thursdays. Oh my goodness. Diet Coke. All right. So what is this game? It's a lot like the Wordle, which I already did today. I do it in the mornings. But you got 4 words, 5-letter words to solve. I use always just the same 3 set of starting words. Let's see. This word on the left, lower left, it's got to be chant, which is good because we need the H. We haven't used the H yet. Okay, H is not there, but that's fine. And then we have a word that could end in ER, but then it has an NAL. Besides, I'm not sure. It might start with a vowel. Oh, it just could be learn. No, it can't be learn. Renal. Could it be renal? RENA. Yeah, it could be renal. All right. Figured it out. All right. Now we have here, there's an EN, an I, and then there's an M. Oh, it could be denim. DEN, and then the I and the M. Could go there. All right. Now we got the D eliminated. All right. We're down to the last of the 4 words. Then we're going to do we'll do the good old revealed. Okay. This word, it could start with A and then have an I and an E in it, which, or could it be? I think it could be agile. No, we're going to have an L. I wonder what this word is. Maybe it's AI something E. Okay, that makes more sense, actually. Because then it could be wave, WAIVE, right? Hello. W. I got some delays there. I. Trying to click the button, nothing's happening. All right, so that constitutes the first big brain game. Just what it is what it is to warm up. The next one is called the Revealed. It's from the fine folks at Botanica.com. We get a category, which today is animals and nature. And then we know the correct answer is going to have 2 words. It's going to be 5 letters and 4 letters. But I don't know what it is until we read this heavily redacted document. We might have to make it to see something. Okay, animals and nature, some kind of animal. All right, the thing we're looking for, the animal we're looking for, and then that would be the Latin nomenclature. Great blah, blah, blah. Family Ursidae. Well, that's a bear. Found throughout the blank region. The blank travels blank over vast, drifting blacks. On drifting. That already makes it really easy. It's a polar bear because he could be brown bear, a black bear, or another kind of bear. But they're not on drifting on oceanic ice floes, whereas polar bears are. That was a super easy one. I hope, but that's the cool. By the way, Ursidae. I mean, if you don't know what Ursidae is, that's the family of bears. Only bears are an Ursidae. But so that really narrows down. They should have redacted that, I think. But even the word drifting was enough for me to know it was a polar bear. All right, we didn't need anything because it was easy. There's some gorgeous little friendly polar bears. Boy, in real life, you just want to walk up and hug those polar bears. They're gonna love it. Trust me, they're very friendly. 4.6 reveals, 1.6 hints. We did pretty good as usual. All right, the next game coming up is the tightrope trivia. You can't really help me out because this is a timed 9-question multiple choice trivia game. Timed meaning how fast you get the answer is the biggest part of your score. I'm trying to get 2,000 points or more, which means I got to get these things right and quickly. But it is what it is. Trivia, trivia can be either you know or you don't sometimes, or you're good at guessing things. All right, let's dive in and see how we do. The planets over 10 hours, belts of different colors. Jupiter. I just was reading about, we're just talking about how Jupiter is the fastest rotating planet somewhere. Weasel is nasty cat or skunk bear. The mongoose. Oh, it was the wolverine. I wasn't gonna guess that. That makes more sense. I don't know. But the Mouse King in what ballet? It's the Nutcracker. I did not know that. I mean, I knew what the Mouse King was, but I did not know Tupac Shakur studied ballet. Or spam. That's Hawaii. I lived in Hawaii for a couple years and never had spam. Blank ball opened in the morning and withered by. I'm gonna go with ephemeral. I mean, not that I just like spam. It's just never came up. But I think it's mainly for locals. And I'm always local. This is Creed 3. Is that Michael B. Jordan? Watches anime every day. Well. First Lady of Television after she spent a year restoring it. It was Jackie Kennedy. Televised is the key there. What athlete? Billion sales. I'm gonna go with Tony Hawk. He made a ton of money off those video games. Good for him too. TikTok. It's a Versace scene from which movie? Showgirls. Elizabeth Berkley was only in Showgirls. It's a Versace. Okay. We did pretty good in that I got one wrong, but once I got right, I believe I got right pretty quickly. So I was still hoping to possibly get a 2,000 or more score, just barely. Oh, Walking Encyclopedia 2140. That's a win in my opinion. These have been getting pretty hard. I did okay there. All right, the next game in the list of games that we do things is called the Reunion. It's a pretty fun game. It's kind of like a crossword puzzle. They've been doing this now for 6 months or more. And I start, it's effectively a new game. It's kind of like crossword puzzle, except you don't get clues. You just got to figure out what the words are. And you get some clues, like the green letters are in their final position. Yellow letters are not in the final position, but are on the correct row or column. And white letters are not on the wrong row and column. But eventually we'll have to move them. Let's see, what is clued in here? The I is on the column. This N is on this column. This A is on the column. This other R is on the column, but this A could be on the column of the row. This M is on the row. I don't think the M is there. The M, it can't be there. This M pretty much has to go in the upper left position, right? Because it can't be mer something, and it can't be mid something. So it's got to be ME something. Okay, and the G turned white, which means it was on this column. So this word on the left is going to be mocking, MOCKING. And I'll put the G there first, but I know it is. And then the N goes there, and we have a K. All right, so we've got the first word on the left, and we're trying to get this in 17 moves. That's par for the course or less. Now we have a word over here. Now we know we have a word that starts with GH. How many words starts with GH? And it can't be ghost because we don't have an S. It could be ghoul, G-O. Yeah, because we have an O-U and an L. G-H-O-U-L. What else could it be? Well, I'm going to move this O in front of the G and the H, after the G and the H, and see if it turns green, because I kind of think it's going to. Yeah. Now that we have G and H-O, right, could it be ghost, except there's no S or T. But we do have a U and an L. Yeah, okay, I feel pretty good. Yeah, cool. All right. Now, so we have the bottom word and we have the left word. This one's going fairly well, but we got to get them all right. Something has to turn green for us to get that 17, even at this stage. This word here, okay, there's this. I think it's going to be charm, right? Because the M is going to go at the end for sure, right? This A is going to stay yellow because it's in this position, and then we have an H. Can't be anything else, right? Yeah, it's got to be charm. All right, so far so good. This R is going to stay on the row. Where is this? The C has to go somewhere. I'm wondering if where these two A's are is where the hedgehog and the fox are going to end up next to each other. Could that could give this drape, DRAPE, and then what to worry about, because I can't see a vertical word that's got 7 letters here. Admiral Hedgehog. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. Yeah, admire. Oh, admire. Admiral. Got it. On the right. Right. Which is good because, as I said, I think that they're going to be where the A's are. Admiral. Sorry, yeah, Admiral. Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's obviously what it is, because this R has to go there. Then we have another A. And I think then we're going to have ice where here between the I and E. That's where the C is going to go. And then it's going to be media at the top. Hedgehog. Okay, got it. Well, where's the hedgehog and the fox? The hedgehog and the fox. The hedgehog is in the final position, but as you see, if I put this here, now the fox is in the final position. They're next to each other. When I interchange the ice and the A, they're both going to turn green, so we're going to get it in 16, which is good. 1 under par. And that was I think about as good as you can do. Other players need a lot more moves, but I think we're pretty good at this. But thank you for Admiral. That was a group. Thing. I thought maybe it was admit, and that they were down here, but that couldn't have worked because we had Ghoul. And so anyway, but the point is yes. But the other thing is to kind of predict where, as soon as you can, try to predict where the hedgehog and the fox are going to go, and you can start eliminating places where they can't go because they have to go right next to each other at the end. So if there's not 2 places right next to each other, they can't go there. All right, that was fun. All right, the next game is the New York Times Connections. It's a fun I don't know, whatever it is. For the New York Times Connections puzzle, they make a new one of these every day. It's free from the New York fine folks at whatever they are, NewYorkTimes.com. You get 16 words or short phrases, and you got to group them into affinity groups by 4. But watch out, there's wordplay and misdirection in play, and by misdirection, I mean there's often a 5th affinity group. By wordplay, the homophones, antonyms, precedent word, antecedent words. I already see. Okay, post-it. Let's just read them and see what we got here. Post-it, treasury, heraldry, play, interior, musical, mental, state, times tables, education, opera, psychic, extrasensory, globetrotter, telepathic, and ballet. I mean, a ballet, an opera, a musical, and a play seem to go together, but this could be the fake affinity group. I also think post-it note, treasury note, but then musical note, and what would the other note be? See, post-it note, treasury note, and then I was thinking musical note. But what would and in which case it couldn't be musical, play, opera, play. All right, let's try it. This is either the correct one or the fake 5th one. All right, it was the correct one. The stage performances. That's good. So that's good. So we know post-it note is nothing to do with anything. All right, interior, post-it, mental, psychic, types of hospital, state hospital, mental hospital. No. Oh yeah, these are Department of the Treasury, Department of Education, Interior Department, and State Department. So these are departments of the United States government, cabinet departments of the state government. All right, fine. That was kind of easy. We're getting the easier ones here. Okay, times tables, post-it, mental, psychic. I mean, mental, psychic, telepathic, and extrasensory seem to go together at this point. Clairvoyant. All right. Well, we have not used any. We've got a perfect. I want to see if I can figure out what. It's obviously Harlem doesn't go in front of all these. What is this here? Herald, times tables, Globetrotter, Post-it, and heraldry. Okay, I see what it is. By the way, it's a little tricky. The first word is a newspaper. So it's the Times is a newspaper, the Globe is a newspaper, the Post is a newspaper, and so is the Herald. So that's the connection between these four. They're the names of newspapers if you take the first part of it. And here it's going to tell you that, starting with newspaper names. All right, that's a perfect thing. And plus, we figured out the purple one, which if you saw it there, just you'd have to. We wouldn't have got that first, but yeah, Globe. As I mentioned, that's what we call the wordplay. Globe Trotter, the Globe, heraldry, the Herald, Post-it, the Post, like the Washington Post or just the Post. I guess the Post is a different paper. Maybe not. And maybe starting with familiar newspaper names, I think, is technically how it should say. Like not the actual name, but the familiar name, like the Post for the Washington Post, and the Times for the New York Times. U.S. cabinet departments was pretty easy, and yeah, as I say, I think the fifth fake one was musical note, treasury note, mental note, I would say, and Post-it note, like making a mental note or something you could do, and that would have been a completely reasonable affinity group. And again, that's what I meant by misdirection, like Post-it note, mental note. I think mental note is a thing. Treasury note is absolutely a thing. And musical note is certainly a thing. So if we guessed that first, it would have said, just nope, you're wrong. No more information. So that's the trickiest part of this is not getting caught up with that. All right, one more game to end it before moving on to the. Let's just the kind of a variation of the 5-letter word games. All right, the hard one is the rescue. So that's the one I like to try because it's the one I only get about 60% of these. Because you can only get one wrong at this point, and it's random words and the random starting words, which are usually terrible, which are obviously going to be terrible. At least we have covered all the vowels. Let's see. This word on the right could be ST and then EA, but it could be steel or steak. Why isn't it steel and steak or stale and steak? I don't know. So I'm going to hold off on that. Maybe we'll find a word that has an L or a K in it that we can figure out for sure. Oh, these are all going to be hard. Oof. S, and then there's an M and an O. It could be smoky. It was smoky. That was a good guess. That was a lucky guess. And now that I know, by the way, now I know that there is no K in this word. So I think it could be steel, right? I don't think it can't be steel. I'm just making sure. If there was a K, it would have showed up there. So I'm thinking it's steel. Oops. Oh, yeah. It could have been something else. All right. The T could be the N. Well, now I know what it is, though. Sheet. Right? No, that's not sheet. It's sweet. Sweat. All right. That's the only word it could be. Right? Yeah, fine. All right, moving along. We could still win, but now we got to get them all right. But that's, you never know. You never know. This word here could be ascot on the lower right. No, it can't be ascot. The O can't go there. So it could be OAST, right? OAST. So it could be toast. TOAST, or boast, BOAST. Oof. Or coast, COAST. Nope. Whatever. And here, there's a U and an A and an E. A lot of vowels. This word could be R you. I kind of like it. Okay, good. Again, you gotta use your instincts. I'm sure this word ends in A-U-L-T, but unfortunately, that's always a tough one because you got vault and fault, and there's usually others, but those are the only ones that were still available. And then we have a word here. This also, let's see, is S and then something. And I think it has to be S-H-E-E, but then what? Sheen. All right, I'm hoping. Nice. Oof, I like playing this game. It's when you get a right word. Okay, we got 4 down and 4 to go. But then there'll be music. I'm gonna play guitar, and it'll be pretty meh. Because that's how I like it. I like to keep my stream on a very mediocre level of. All right, yeah, this is OAST, but again, could be boast, coast, oof. All right, this one, okay, this is interesting here because we have a U and the A and the L, and we know there's a T there. So it's either UTAL or TU something AL. UTAL? I don't think so. So TU something AL. Tubal is a word. Come on, give me Tubal. There we go. All right, so the B is not, it's not boast up there. Oh, see? Now we know it's toast because that word started with a T, and we know this word starts and ends with a T. So it's not coast. It has to start with and end with a T. All right, so that we waited, and that one popped out at us. All right, this is an interesting word here. It has the A in the middle, and then we have a K and L, N, and N. And it looks like, and that's the only vowel. This has to be clank, C-L-A-N-K on the lower left. Has to be. Oops. Oh, could have been flank. All right, so we can't win now. That's it. You can only get one wrong, and that's 2 wrong. Oh well. As I say, I win about 60% of these. We have 1 guess left, 2 letters, and we know this is A-U-L-T, but we still don't know if it's fault. Right? We know it's A-U-L-T. It has to be fault, F-A-U-L-T. Oh, no, it could be vault. I'm just going to guess it. Okay, it was fault, but what we didn't get was flank, so that's a loss. Again, I thought it was clank for sure because it could have been clank, but I forgot it could also have been flank. So either way, I would have had to do a 50-50 guess either there or here for fault as well because they're also going to vault. So, you know what I mean? That was just kind of unlucky, although I did okay. It's not a win, but I had a good time. All right, well, that is the end of the Big Brain Games for the day. I'm moving over to the musical category for some strange, like I do over time around this time. Let's see, I'm in the musical category, but I'm going to take my little mid-roll, take a little chance to reset my cameras and things like that and plug my guitar in and my headphones and the like. So we'll see you on the other side of the mid-roll. All right, so welcome to the today's the guitar segment. I do a musical performance every time, and the second half of the show. But yesterday was of course Ken's Piano Lounge. Today is a guitar day, and tomorrow will be Rocksmith Bass Day. I just kind of like to switch things out rather than just kind of playing the guitar or playing the keyboard. This is my new guitar. I bought it for my birthday. This year in March. It's kind of an impulse purchase. You buy these online from Amazon for $250 and they plus tax, and they deliver them to you a couple days later in the mail. And these are Leo James, and this is the second one I bought. They're different kinds. This is the newer one, this newest one of their most expensive model. Has what we call the double locking system here, Floyd Rose style bridge style. It's not a real Floyd Rose bridge. It doesn't say Floyd Rose on it. I have a real Floyd Rose that's exactly the same color, and it is identical to a Floyd Rose bridge. Leads me to believe that it's probably manufactured in the same factory as a real Floyd Rose. It just doesn't say Floyd Rose on it, and the factory gets to sells the same factory makes them for Floyd Rose and also the generic ones because they are so identical, and it plays the same. I love the floor. I just started really getting into Floyd Rose bridges a couple years ago, and now I just love them. They stay in tune really well. The double locking system really works, and you just adjust things. It takes a little maintenance, and then getting it set up exactly like I like it. It takes a little bit of time and effort, but it's not that complicated. And now it's just right. So it's a pretty looking guitar, but it is well engineered and well made and well put together. I'm just very tickled. Oh, thanks for calling, Joe. I saw your message. You're still here. All right, I feel like trying to sing a song, just a solo, just me playing and singing. Great lyrics up here though. Give me a second here. It's from Crowder House. It's called "Better Be Home Soon." Yeah, you wouldn't have understood that. Give me a second here. Song. This is a beautiful song from. Why did it do that? Okay, "Better Be Home Soon" lyrics. There you go. Okay. 1993. I remember what song came out somewhere on there. Somewhere deep inside, something. Hold on a second. Get some reverb here. Something's got a hold on you, and it's pushing me aside. See it stretch on forever, and I know that I'm right for the first time in my life. That's why I tell you, better be home soon. Stripping back the coats, lies and deception. Back to the nothingness, like a week in the desert. And I know that I'm right for the first time in my life. That's why I tell you, better be home soon. Don't say no, don't say nothing's wrong. When you get back home, maybe I'll be gone. It would cause me pain, we were to end it, but I could start again. You can depend on it, and I know that I'm right first time in my life. That's why I tell you, better be home soon. That's why I tell you, better be home soon. Alrighty. This time I'm going to have some backing vocals to help me out, because I need them. Give me a second here. I need some backing vocals. I need a whole backing act. Diet Coke cans. I like the way your sparkling earrings lay One song to do. What else we got here? Oh yeah, I'm practicing this one. Pause for a second. Gotta get work on this. Something like that. Did I not turn it on? It's not. I was just waiting for it to do something. Okay, yeah, we get that first note right. time anyway. Let's see what else. I'll do something I don't do every time. Let's see. Do this one here next.
Sinking.
Keep the 3 for this one. I like these explain other songs.
I will wear that dress. Oh, kiss me. Lead me the milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open hand. Strike up the band and make the fireflies dance. Silver moon sparkling. So kiss me. By the broken tree house, sing me upon its hanging tire. Bring your flower hat. You'll take the trail marked on your mother's map. Oh, kiss me, lead me in milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open
great song. Oh, another one I just like doing. Same Cable 3.
Brought to life. He was warm, he came around like he was dignified. Showed me what it was to cry, but he couldn't be that man I adored. Don't seem to know, don't seem to care what your heart is for. I don't know him anymore. There's nothing where he used to lie. My conversation has run dry. That's what's going on. Nothing's fine, I'm torn. I'm all out of bed. This is how I feel. Cold, I am shaking. I am wicked on the floor. Illusion never changed into something real. Wide awake and I can see the perfect sky is torn. You're in a little lane. I'm already torn. So I get the fortune teller's right. I should have seen this what was there, and that's the holy light. But you grow beneath my veins and now I don't care. I have no love. I don't miss it all that much. There's just so many things that I can't touch. I'm torn. I'm out of aim. This is how I feel. Cold and I am shaking. I am naked on the floor. Vision never changed into something real. Wide awake and I can see the perfect sky is torn. We're a little late. I'm already torn. Nothing where we used to lie. My inspiration has run dry. That's what's going on. Nothing's right. I'm torn. I'm all out of bed. This is how I feel. Cold night and shaking. I am naked on the floor. Vision never changed into something real. Wide awake and I can see the perfect sky is torn. I'm all out of bed. This is how I feel. Cold and I'm ashamed. You're a little late. I'm already torn.
All right, I'm not gonna play along. I'm just gonna sing along. I like singing this song.
Like a pine trees winding, land of the winding road.
I'm gonna start again. You get the lyrics right. I know this song. Like the pine trees winding the line. Oh shit.
Like the pine trees lining the winding road. I got a name. I've got a name. Like the singing bird and the croaking toad. I've got a name. I've got a name. And I carry it with me like my daddy did. But I'm living the dream that he can't give. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Like a north wind whistling down the sky. I've got a song, I've got a song. Like the whippoorwill and the babies cry. I've got a song, I've got a song. And I carry it with me and I sing it loud. If it gets me nowhere, I go there proud. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway. I'm moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Go there free. Like the fool I am and I'll always be. I've got a dream, I've got a dream. They can change their minds but they can't change me. I've got a dream, I've got a dream. I know I could share it if you want me to. If you're going my way, I'll go with you. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway. I'm moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway. I'm moving ahead so life won't pass me by. If I know, somebody will get them. I might not play a song, kinda. Wait, what's this? What's that? Oh, what is this? C minor. When you were here before, couldn't look you in the eye, just like an angel. Skin makes me cry. Float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. So fucking special that I'm a dream. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't care if whatever makes you happy, whatever you want. So fucking special. Wish I was special. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I think I'd probably do one more song. I don't know what it's going to be, though. Actually, this one. Capo 2. One more song before my voice has completely collapsed into a pile of melted jello. They're gonna throw it back to you. I now should have somehow realized what you got to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. Not sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody here feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lies that lead us there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. 'Cause maybe you're gonna be the one who saves me. And after all, you're my Wonderwall. Never throw it back to you. I should have somehow realized what you got to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead you there were winding, and all the lines that line the way were blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I said, baby, you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my Wonderwall. Said, baby, that's going to be it. That's 2 hour mark. Hit the 2 hour mark as usual. Right around that time, is around the time when I start going, hey, you know what? I can keep going, but why bother? I got more streaming tomorrow. I'm going to keep in the tank. Don't want to run the tank dry. It's bad for the engine. Basically, what I'm saying is there'll be more tomorrow and the day after, and it's all going to be very similar to today's stream, except no guitar for a couple of days since we're rotating in groups of 3. Yesterday was Ken's Piano Lounge. Tomorrow will be the Rocksmith Bass Day. But of course, the flying will be basically the same. Big brain games. That's not the same every time. Trying to hit this mediocre level of mediocrity, and I believe I do it each and every time. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. And before I go, I'd like to leave you with the following thought. I'm so glad we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. Bye, buddy.